Are you about to be homeless, facing homelessness, homeless, trying to figure out how to get off the streets? Or are you just curious in case that situation ever comes to you? Well, I've spent the last 25 years chronically homeless, off and on the streets, and I've got some advice to share with you, not only to help you survive homelessness, but to be able to thrive when you're homeless and getting off the streets. So let's get into it. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to offer you three pieces of advice. The first piece of advice is, and you might not like this, but become a subscriber of my channel. I'm going to tell you why. Because I've spent the last 25 years chronically homeless, I have chronicled all of my knowledge over the last couple of years while I experienced homelessness this last time. I will teach you how to survive on being homeless. I will teach you how to make money being homeless. I can even teach you how to prepare for homelessness. So if that reaper comes knocking on your door, you're prepared for it. Because you know what? We could sit there and say it's never going to hit us. We could put our heads in the sand. But the reality is, as disruptive as technology is being in the economy, plus all of this global trade war and all these other things that are going on, the average worker is going to be caught in a precarious position. So by subscribing to my channel, you have over 1,000 videos that will teach you how to prepare for homeless, how to survive homelessness, how to make money while you're homeless, and then how to become a digital homesteader like me. Because everything I'm teaching you is what I wish somebody would have taught me when I was younger. If I would have learned some of this stuff when I was younger, I probably would have only been homeless once or twice in my life versus probably about 10 or 15 times over the last 25 years. That's crazy. But the thing is, number two, homelessness is an opportunity. Most people look at it, oh, it's a bad thing. Da, da, da. Homelessness is not a bad thing unless you want it to be. It is neither good, it is neither bad. It is how you perceive it, and your perception becomes reality. So if you see it as negative, therefore it's going to be a negative experience. However, there have been lots of people throughout history who have used being homeless as an opportunity to turn over a new leaf and become a better person, to get new opportunities, to be able to take risks that they never would have taken because they were too worried about a roof over their head and they were too attached to materialistic things. The difference between us and our ancestors is our ancestors were not nearly as materially attached as we are. And so therefore we look at homelessness as a bad thing, but not necessarily. Is it bad for most people? Probably. But can you come out of it and come out of it better than you ever did before? I have. I've done it a few times. So it is an opportunity if you choose to treat it like an opportunity versus something negative that happened to you and so on and so forth. Okay, my third piece of advice for you would be stop whining, stop complaining. Nobody cares. Not even the homeless industrial complex. Nobody really cares what is going on with you. They have their own problems, they have their own obstacles, and they're barely keeping it together as is. Unless you're making a couple $100,000 a year, you're struggling if you're the average American. Your struggles are much different than one to the other because of lifestyle, but there's still just a lot of struggles that the average American has. Okay, so stop whining, stop complaining. Here's the best thing that I could tell you is make sure that you have a positive mental attitude. I learned this in sales. Always have a PMA, positive mental attitude. If you have a PMA, then that means your world will become a PMA. That means the things around you will become positive. That means the experience that you have around you will become positive because you're choosing to look at it in a positive light versus a negative light. Now there are some negative things that go on. You can't get over that. But for the most part, if you keep a positive mental attitude, that will do a lot, not only in negating the stuff that goes on up here and all the damage that's going to be done by being homeless, or even the stressors of being on the verge of homelessness. By keeping a positive mental attitude, basically you're keeping your mind intact and you're letting less damage happen to your brain through the circumstances versus just playing into it and becoming a victim of circumstance, which being a victim of circumstance doesn't solve anything for anybody. The, the last piece of advice that I would give you is this. Okay, I've made more money being on the streets than I ever did being housed, with the exception of owning a business. I owned a business for about 6 years, and I thought I would never be homeless again. I got comfortable. I thought nothing would ever happen. But here's the truth. The world is going to throw you a curveball. If you look at homelessness as an opportunity, you can go out there and make a lot of money. Maybe not as much as you would like to, but considering your reduced expenses, you're going to live a lot better. on the streets with a good income than you would being housed, putting 80% of your revenue towards a place to live. Okay, so when it comes to making money, being homeless, a lot of things have changed. When it was in the beginning, one of the things that I did was, I panhandled, I knocked doors, I went business to business, I posted on Craigslist, I posted here, I did this, I did that. I did so many different avenues and tried so many different ways to make money while being homeless. I almost pretty much mastered it. Okay, I decided that this channel and what I'm doing here was more important than going out and doing what I normally did, because I see that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be caught in this great disruption, this great dispossession that we've got coming to us. Okay, so making money is not a bad thing, and you should be, if you're going to be homeless, you should always be looking for new ways to make money, because here's the reality of it: you have time to do whatever it is that you need to do. And so if you're going to focus it on being productive and getting yourself out of the homeless situation, finding ways to make money. Now you got to make money online. You've got to start some sort of digital business. And that's why I'm transitioning right now, is to show you, whether you're homeless or housed, how to be able to avoid what is coming. Because in a lot of ways, if you start now building yourself a side hustle, a side income, when the Reaper comes knocking at your door to tell you that your job is gone and your pink slip has been handed to you, well, then you have the opportunity to now scale up what you've been working on a side hustle. So many people will diversify their investments, but forget to diversify their income. Because what happens if that one form of income goes away? Then you're stuck up shit creek, and that's why people end up homeless. Whereas if you have multiple streams of income that you're working on the side, just in case it maybe one day they'll take off, because I didn't just, my first business didn't take off. It took me like 3 or 4 starts before I actually got my first business to take off, and I learned a lot from it, and you will too. But the thing is, you need to, if you're going to avoid homelessness, you need to have multiple streams of income, especially now in this economy, because any one of those income streams could dry up overnight with the competition of AI doing it cheaper, easier, and therefore you're losing a customer base, because AI has taken over something that you would offer as a general service. But there's a lot of different things that you can do. So making money, whether it be online, whether it be digital panhandling, like with QR codes, or your cash or your Cash App tag, all of that stuff is a way to be able to survive as a homeless person in the digital economy. But here's the real thing: because the economy goes up and the economy goes down, if you're just going, I'm going to go digital panhandle, I'm just going to get free money. Yes, some days you're going to have a great day and you're going to ask yourself, why would I ever go to work with something like this? But in reality, 90% of your time is you're going to be going, man, I didn't make enough money today, I need to go get a job. Okay, so some days are great, most days suck. Digital panhandling, especially in this economy, isn't necessarily the best thing to do. So figuring out ways to be able to become productive in the digital economy, going online, is the only way you're going to get out of homelessness and have any semblance of stability from now and into the future. All right, Rebels, thanks for watching. I hope you got some value over this, and I hope that you guys understand, those of you that have been watching my content, wondering why I'm talking about AI and making money online and stuff like this, because quite frankly, this plays into the whole niche in which I've been talking about, which is, how do you get out of homelessness? How do you avoid homelessness? Nobody wants to be homeless. Well, actually, there are people like me that do want to be homeless from time to time. We see it as an option. But 99%, 95% of people don't really want to be there. They would rather have something productive to do. They would rather pay their rent. Even if they don't like their job, they're willing to go do it. Well, you know what? It's about time to make some changes and start having a more fulfilling quality of life by learning how to make money online through the digital economy and other digital means, because quite frankly, if you're going to escape what's coming, this is the only way to do it. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll see you in the next one.